welcome back to the Chop Up. And now for a season of the Snitch. The mob calls them rats. We call them snitches. Why do we resist talking to the cops?
To talk or not to talk? That's the question.
You live by this so-called code of the street, you're supposed to stay quiet.
Is it honorable to keep your mouth shut and aid a criminal?
She was found guilty of perjury.
Or is it immoral to ignore your civic duty to your neighbors?
We've got a lot of people misunderstanding really what it represents.
One of the most complex issues in all of hip-hop, snitching.
Snitching? Man, I don't even know what snitching is no more.
Must be some kind of way out of here.
Ever since the well-dressed thugs built their criminal empires during the Prohibition era, America's been in love with the gangster. Well, sort of. Once we realized that the face of real crime is way too ugly, we fell in love with the mythology of the modern-day American outlaw, Hollywood style. And hip-hop is no different, blending our devotion to the American dream with our love for the gangster myth.
I know I'd go from rags to riches.
Our music, our videos, and too often our lives have become a never-ending tribute to the mob, including our very own version of Omerta, the sacred code of silence. In mob flicks, you're a stoolie, a rat. In hip-hop, you're a snitch.
The mob is organized crime. The crime we do is not organized. We'll shoot each other for a pair of sneakers.
Scenario, you let your friend hold a car. He does a robbery. The license plate leads back to you. Cops come and arrest you. What do you do?
I'm not gonna go in the court of law and be like, oh, it was such and such, such and such.
I would have to take it to the heart, man.
Since the loyalty's already been broken by your boy, I guess that gives you the right to go ahead and snitch.
And now, the golden rule of the criminal class has become our generation's all-out prohibition against talking to the police. Baltimore, 2004. An underground DVD hits the streets.
To all you rats, I hope you
It is a tangible representation of our generation's attitude.
We won't stand by and let this become the law of the streets. We need to send the message that we have control of what's happening in our community, not these individuals.
In October 2004, Rayco Saunders exemplified that attitude when he entered a Pittsburgh courtroom wearing a Stop Snitching t-shirt. He says he wore the t-shirt as a message to the state's main witness, who had been charged with hiring 2 men to kill him, but turned state's evidence against the would-be assassins. To others, the Stop Snitching campaign can be a genuine cause with roots going back to the civil rights era, when the FBI's counterintelligence program planted informants within the ranks of black civil rights groups.
At that time, there were clear stop snitching or no snitching policies in place.
That history of black folks' general distrust of the police has heavily contributed to the current phenomenon. But when there's money to be made, the Stop Snitching movement becomes just another cool thing to do.
Once you had Stop Snitching t-shirts, once you had people making songs about it, suddenly you strip away its complexity and you reduce it to a soundbite.
Little C's testified before a grand jury investigating a shootout in front of New York's Hot 97.
It's not even battling no more. Now it's all, he's a snitch, he's a snitch, he's a snitch. It's good promotion.
To others, the no snitch code is the unbreakable rule for those who've chosen to live their lives and earn their living outside the law.
I was looking at natural life. I could have told on somebody and didn't probably have to do a date, but it just wasn't even an option for me.
Hip-hop is supposed to be a different game, but with the influx of so many players from a much more hardcore league, the code has recently been put to the test and found to be the fans' favorite play. Dipset frontman Cameron refused to identify the person who shot him in D.C. Busta refused to talk about the murder of his friend and bodyguard. And rather than cooperate with the grand jury, Lil' Kim chose prison. The overwhelming perception is that if any of them would have talked to the cops, their careers would be dead.
What is that like, the perception of C Snitch? What does that feel like?
It's not a good look. There's times I hear it, I let it go because, you know what? Same person I sit here that's saying, calling me a snitch, I do something to him, yeah, turn around and they'll tell on me. You're not a man, you didn't go say it to my face.
Into the camera, are you a snitch?
More season of The Snitch coming up after the break.